Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Brimlow, and today I'd like to talk to you about how you find the area of a circle and a semicircle. So we're using the same notes from yesterday, so we're going to be working on pages 1 and 2. If you didn't have the packet but printed out the notes yesterday, it's going to be the same papers. So if you could just take those out or print them in whatever form you have so we can get started, okay? So just as a quick review, when we're talking about circles, we have the center of the circle, we have the diameter, which is the distance across a circle from one part of the circumference to the opposite side through the center. We have the radius, which is half that distance, or just from the center to the circumference, which is the distance around the circle, okay? And when we're working with area, we have to use the radius. So if you could start by going down here. So to find the area of a circle, which is the space inside a circle, we use the formula pi times radius squared. Now, when I'm using squared, what this is really saying is I'm doing pi times the radius times the radius. So when we square something, we're multiplying it by itself. So we use the number 2 times. So once again, notice how the formula does not use diameter. You have to use radius. So if you're given the diameter, you have to find the radius first. So in this example, we are given the radius, which is 14. So just as I mentioned in my previous video, when you're given a formula, that should be your first step. So area equals pi times radius squared. So we're using 3.14 as our number for pi, and then we're using 14 for the radius, and we're squaring it, okay? So on another screen, I'm working at home. I have another screen, so I'm going to use that for my calculator. 3.14 times 14 times 14. I'm actually going to just drag it over for a second. So I have pi times 14 times 14. So you can see I've used that twice. So this has an area of 615.44 meters squared. Now, when you are talking about area, you're talking about square units. So it should be to the power of 2, since we're talking about a 2D space. And once again, as always, you can use a calculator for all of these problems. Okay. All right, in this next problem, they gave us diameter. However, we can't use diameter. We have to use the radius. So to find the radius, I take half the distance, which would be 9 inches. So now I'm going to come over here. Area equals pi r squared. Area equals 3.14 times 9 squared. This is going to probably slip for a second, but I will come back to it. So using my calculator, 3.14, whoops, times 9 again is 254.34 meters squared. Okay. Now, when working with area, you are probably going to run into larger numbers, so don't be worried you made a mistake if it's super big. You could have possibly made a mistake. We always do. So it's always good to double check your work, especially if you're questioning it, but don't be afraid or alarmed if you are getting larger numbers, okay? So we're going to turn to the next page, which is page 2 in your packet, or on the second page if you printed out the notes. So area of a semicircle. So just looking at the semicircles provided here, a semicircle is half of a circle, okay? So when we're finding the area of a semicircle, it's still like finding the area of a circle. However, we're only using half of it. So we have to take our area and then divide it by 2. So we're going to use the formula pi r squared, which is the area of a full circle, and then you divide it in half because it's a semicircle. If I was working with a quarter circle, so 1/4 of a circle, I would end up dividing by 4. So it's just the amount of a circle that you're working with. So we're still using radius. So this case, they give us the diameter, okay? If they specify, like in this next one, the radius, they might give you the center and then bold part of it. Or if they just give you one measurement is going to tell us that it's the diameter, either bolded from the center or being specific about what we're talking about is going to be the radius. So 10 centimeters is the diameter, the full distance across. I only want half of that though, so that's going to be 5 centimeters. So this is area equals pi r squared divided by 2. So area equals 3.14 times 5 squared, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. So let's go ahead and bring over our calculator. So 3.14 times 5 again. And then I need to divide that in half, and I get 39.25 centimeters squared. Okay. Once again, we're working with area. We're talking about 2D space, so it's squared units. Now in this one, they did give us the radius, which is 7 centimeters, so we don't need the diameter, so we're not going to find it. So area equals pi r squared divided by 2. Area equals 3.14 times 7 squared divided by 2. All right, so we have 3.14 times 7 again, and then I'm going to divide that by 2 since it's half the space. So this has a space of 76.93 centimeters squared. Okay. So today you're going to practice finding area of circles and semicircles. So check out Canvas to see what your practice options are. And if you have any questions, let me know. I will check.